Musok's Press Row with the Oklahoman's Barry Tramel and Jenni Carlson is powered by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
I'm Barry Tramel, and some guys we know pretty well, Doug Gottlieb, Adrian Peterson, Blake Griffin, all said some interesting things this week. My favorite part of it all, none of them said it on Twitter.
Yeah, they actually spoke the words that got him into trouble. From the Opupco studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Press Row is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. Now, Barry, I'm not so sure that Blake Griffin's comments got him into trouble, but he made some comments that were critical of Oklahoma's decision to fire Jeff Capel. Doug Gottlieb made a comment about Michigan State and their team, that it was Kalen Lucas and a bunch of other dudes. But then you had Adrian Peterson, the former Oklahoma player, after this NFL labor dispute situation, talking about the players like he referred to modern day slavery. I have to think Adrian Peterson said the most outrageous of the three.
Well, he said the most ignorant thing. I mean, that's a silly thing. NFL players are not anywhere related to slavery. Coal miners, I'll give you. Slavery, no. Slavery is a horrific part of American history, and people today in 21st century planet Earth, we have still modern day slavery, and it's not people in shoulder pads. So Adrian, that was a very poor choice, and I think he would probably like to take that back. Now, Blake Griffin coming to the defense of Jeff Capel. I would have been shocked if he hadn't come to Jeff Capel's defense. He loved Jeff Capel. He did great things with OU basketball. What was interesting to me on Blake Griffin is that Blake Griffin sought out the ESPN.com reporter to initiate this story. It wasn't like someone went to Blake Griffin and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Blake Griffin sought them out and said, "Listen, I want you to write this. I think Jeff Capel got a raw deal." So a couple of different attacks there by former Sooners. I'm shocked at Adrian Peterson, his choice of words. I'm not shocked at Blake Griffin. In fact, I admire the loyalty he showed Jeff Capel.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that the choice of words that Adrian Peterson had, his meaning, I think, is solid. And obviously, there's a lot of high emotions running right now with this NFL labor situation. You know, everybody's sort of on edge. What's going to happen? A lot of emotion, a lot of people being called out, a lot of people feeling like their futures are in jeopardy. So I understand, that sort of, just start spouting it because, you're angry, you're worried, whatever. But you have to choose a little bit more carefully what you say. And Adrian Peterson, to this point, has had a really, what I think is pretty charmed career when it comes to public perception in Minnesota and around the NFL. I think he's really sort of come into his own as somebody that is well spoken and is doing a lot of PR type of stuff with companies and sponsorships. But this sort of thing, Barry, is not real good for that. And I agree. I think Blake Griffin, I would have been more surprised if he had said, "Yeah, I agree with that." But Adrian Peterson, this has got to be something his PR people are going, "Ugh, that wasn't very good."
Well, his PR people and his union. I know that people throw fiery darts during negotiations, but that's not the kind of thing that wins public appeal. I think the NFL union said, "Don't use that kind of language," because the players are on the side of the Angels here. The players are in the right. Their safety and their health has been sort of a back burner issue for the owners. The owners don't seem to really care about the plight of the players, whether we're trying to get an 18-game contract, an 18-game schedule, or guaranteed contracts, which are virtually non-existent in the NFL. So Peterson's on the side of right here, but he will lose a lot of ground using words like that. Now, as far as Gottlieb and Tom Izzo, this is just a couple of guys going at it, for crying out loud. I'm not so sure Gottlieb's wrong here when he says that Michigan State is Lucas and some other dudes. I got to tell you, Tom, I love you. I picked you for the Final Four because that's what I do every March. But you know what? I don't know anybody else on your team other than Lucas, so I'm not going to criticize Doug. I think you probably are a bunch of other dudes. I thought it was a little bit of a cheap shot to come at Doug's past. Doug, whether you agree with what he says or not, he's an excellent analyst for ESPN. I love Tom Izzo, but Tom, I think you were off on this one.
Well, and I'm almost more surprised by what Tom Izzo had to say. To me, for this to have gotten under Tom Izzo's skin, a guy that's so well respected and really comes off as a classy guy in the college basketball coaching ranks. I mean, to me, this is the kind of thing that analysts say. And I know that, when you talk about Doug Gottlieb, he's on ESPN, the platform is bigger, the stage is bigger. But still, analysts say stuff like this all the time, stuff that sort of boils down a team to 6 or 8 words. And for Tom Izzo, a guy that really does have a great track record, to come back at him in a press conference setting, to me, Barry, that's a little bit shocking too. Not more shocking than what Adrian Peterson said, but it was a week of some shocking comments. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.
News OK's Press Row with the Oklahoman's Barry Tramel and Jenni Carlson is powered by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.